Welcome to the Get Sculpted podcast. We're your hosts, Tiana,
Jordana,
and Marilyn.
This podcast is all about cutting through the noise and giving you the real deal on fat loss, muscle building, and what it really takes to build your 2.0 sculpted self, inside and out. Our motto is to work smarter, not harder. We'll break down science-based and actionable strategies to optimize your metabolism, ditch the diets, and create a sustainable, fit, and healthy lifestyle that actually works for you. So if you're ready to get stronger, not just skinnier, and embrace a body you love, hit that subscribe button and let's get sculpted.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Get Sculpted podcast. Can you believe it, ladies? We are already in the final couple of weeks of summer break. We're also hitting episode 40, so let's give a big clap for that. Hello, thank you very much.
Woo!
So good.
Thank you guys for listening.
So exciting. But now, this time of year, we are getting organized for the kids to go back to school. We're starting to feel that shift in the air. The weather's changing. And if you're anything like me, this time of year always brings this feeling of resettling into this new rhythm and refocusing on my goals. And for some people, maybe you stayed on track this summer. For others, maybe it was total chaos all over the place. But fall can be really grounding because it brings structure and it brings a return to routine. And I have always said this. I have always thought of September as the real New Year, not January. September feels like the real New Year to me. And I know a lot of women, right? A lot of women that we work with, a lot of women we talk to, they feel this way, especially moms. The kids are going back. There's finally some mental space to focus on you. So how are you girls feeling as we head back into because I know you both have kiddos going into the fall season?
It's been an awesome summer. We've gotten to do so many things and enjoyed the backyard and the pool and the lake and all of that.
Are you ready?
I think I'm ready for school, but I'm not ready for the season to change.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Oh, yeah, me too. I always crave routine.
Yes.
That's what I always want to come back to, whether it be going away, which is always nice, or just having a little bit looser boundaries with screen time and whatnot. But yeah, I'm craving the back to school Monday to Friday, just consistency.
You know what? That is exactly what this episode is about today. We want to help you harness that back to school fall energy and use it as your times to reset and realign. And we want you to decide, what are these next few months going to look like? Because what you do now sets the stage for tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So we're going to be talking about this in fitness, in your health, in your life. We are going to walk you through how to use this transition season with intention. We're going to talk to you about setting realistic goals, creating routines, but not just routines that actually stick and that you can stick to. And most importantly, how to really let go of that pressure that creeps in, because life's going to get busy. We know that when the kids go back, it will get busy. So we need to learn how to embrace that consistency. To kick things off, we are going to talk about what it looks like to set a fall fitness intention that feels doable, sustainable, and enjoyable. Are you ready, ladies?
Ready.
Okay. So let's dive into the idea of this fall fresh start idea and how we can be intentional. We're stepping into this new season. Like I said, it is the perfect time to pause and reflect and think about how the summer went. Now, and we say this to our clients, whenever we say to reflect, it's not with guilt. It's not with shame. It's just to literally say, okay, what worked for me this summer? What did I do that felt really, really good? And then on the flip side, what didn't quite feel aligned and maybe what pulled me away from my habits? Because whatever you did well, you want to do more of. Whatever maybe didn't go the way you wanted it, it's time to reframe it. And like I said, don't be hard on yourself because that's not going to get you anywhere. Judgment's not going to do anything. We want to look at fact over feeling because the whole idea is clarity and intention. So from here, after you do that reflection, zoom out and ask yourself, well, what do I want this fall season to look like? So think about your fitness goals for sure, but we want you to think deeper. How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel stronger? Do you want to have more energy? Do you want to feel confident in your clothes? Do you want to shop that closet? We know that jeans season, it's coming. And so do you want to be able to put on those jeans every fall and be able to zip the zipper and feel really, really good? That's the focus. So from there, you ask yourself, what is one clear, realistic intention that I can set that will support how I want to feel? So maybe that is being consistent with your workouts if you weren't over the summer, or really committing to meal prep now that the kids are going back, getting lunches ready, getting dinners ready to take the pressure off yourself. Make it simple, make it doable. And the last thing, release that pressure to be perfect. We talk about it all the time on this podcast. Perfection does not make progress. Consistency does. You have to show up for yourself. So don't overhaul everything because If you do that, you'll probably burn out before you even get to Thanksgiving. So we want you to be intentional. So Jordan T, I would love to know, is there a small habit or routine that you're planning on recommitting to this fall? Something that might anchor you to this season, just to give our listeners some ideas?
I think for me, when I transition from summer to fall,
Mm-hmm.
I always do a little bit of a schedule overhaul. So, what worked in the summer with more flexibility and longer days, my mood really can shift in the fall season and into winter months. So, I have to do some preparation starting now for that time of year. And so, I like to reevaluate my routine as a whole. What time do I wake up? What time do I work out? When am I getting certain things done? Because I have to start doing certain things differently in order to continue feeling good.
That's such a good point.
Yeah, my big one is with probably the walking and movement. I get lots of it outside in the summer, which is great, and more than usual just organically. But coming back to my fall routine, I really do like having the mornings on the walking pad, starting the day like that, and just incorporating more of kind of structure now that the kids are in school and schedules change a little bit. But I'm with you there, Jord, as well, that things kind of look different every year. And it's also, for me, giving myself permission to let go sometimes, like with schedules and sleep and that kind of thing. Hey, maybe in the summer it's a little bit less consistent with super early wake ups, but the fall is the time to just tighten things up a little bit.
I'm in the same boat as both of you. For me, it's reevaluating like when things are going to happen and what that's going to look like, because we talk about living a fit life that lasts. So I lived my fit life in the summer. I'm going to continue living my fit life in the fall. It's just going to look different, right?
Yep.
So T, I'd love to have you talk a little bit about how do we create routines then that actually stick? Because it's one thing to say you're going to do something.
Yes.
But you got to put that into action. So how are we going to do that?
Well, I'm excited because I'm a very tactical person. So it's good to know, hey, this is what I need to do, but how do you actually do it? And we always say this for our clients. I'm sure people are listening and nodding and saying, oh yeah, I got to get back to my routine. The summer was a little bit loosey-goosey. Maybe you were drinking a little bit more wine on the patio. Don't worry. We're not judging you for 1 second. Don't judge yourself. Onward and upward. It's an opportunity to look at things. So I want to get specific here on some of the things we talked about, which is what type of things do we actually refine? So we just talked about this with regards to just our overall schedule. I want you to really think about what your week looks like right now, or what you want your week to look like. Not in a perfect world, but in an actual realistic scenario. Okay. Because remember, your kids might be back at school, maybe your drop-off times change, extracurriculars, all the things. There's only one you, and you only have so much to give. You can't give 110% all the time. What routine can you give your consistent 80% to? What can you stay consistent with? And this starts by first front-loading how you pour into yourself, your food prep, your food shopping too, I would say, which you can do online. So you want to outsource that as much as possible. And your training. That's kind of how I group it. And then reverse engineering. So a little hack I have is on Sundays, I actually put a 10-minute task reminder on my Google Calendar saying, schedule the week's workouts. And I still do this, y'all. You don't need to do it all the time, but I actually do suggest you do.
I was going to say, I think they should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should. One more for anybody who's like calendar gets totally cuckoo. The front loading idea is what really sticks with me and made me successful. Is I actually do mine on the Friday so that if I need to pull anything forward into the weekend, I can do that. And it makes me feel like I'm ahead instead of behind and catching up. And it's particularly helpful if like an appointment comes up that you have to take the kids to, or somebody gets sick or whatever it is. Have that time set aside.
Your future self will always be thankful for you being ahead. You never want to be behind.
No.
Because when shit hits the fan, you want to build that up. Mare, would you add anything?
No, I was just going to say that you're absolutely right. And while we're talking about the fall being great for routine and structure, we also know for a lot of people, it does get busier and things will come up, right? Things are going to come up with something at school or something with the kids' lessons and all of that. So the more prepared you can be with your routines, that's why I actually love tea. I think that everybody needs to do that because as soon as you block it off and prioritize it, it's something that you will do. You can't just say, oh yeah, I'm going to work out 3 times this week. Okay, cool. But like when? Be very specific. Be so granular with when, what time. How are you going to make sure that the environment supports that?
Yes.
It's key. Planning is key. Be prepared, not surprised. One of our sculpted standards.
I was going to say exactly that because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, as the saying goes. So if you're saying, you know me and my rants, I'm going to rant when people are like, oh, yeah, I'll probably work out on Saturday. And I'm sorry, my husband, Brian, always says this. Yeah, I'll probably work out. When? I'll be like, we're going to be out all day. And this is ADHD. I don't know what. No, tell me what time because I'm going to work out from 9 to 10. Like I need answers here. So yeah, it's just being very guarded with your time. And with that, you don't want to make it unnecessarily hard for yourself.
No.
So on the topic of reevaluating if things work for you, maybe you have been thinking, hey, maybe I'll pour a little bit more into my home gym now and give the gym a rest. Like what's going to be realistic for you? How can we get you building your routine consistently? Like if you say the 3 workouts a week, okay, how can you eliminate any of the friction? Maybe it is leveling up your home gym and doing most of your sessions at home or half of them at home. Or maybe it's waking up early finally and getting in that routine where now there's no excuse. I'm just getting to the gym or starting my workout. And think about how you can habit stack too. So how can you, instead of saying, oh my God, now I have a step goal, well, you get to have a step goal, number one, because you have 2 working legs, so embrace it. But how could you stack that onto your new routine? Like when I walk my kids to school, I'm like, hey, let's go for another loop, Brian. We have some time. If you have a dog, take your dog out some extra time. It'll be good for everybody. Do you guys have anything to add for that one? How to habit stack? Any tips and tricks?
I always use this one because I have a lot of clients who do it. I'd love to take credit that I thought of it, but it was actually totally inspired by clients. So again, lessons are going to start up, right, in the fall for a lot of kids. So instead of like going to the dance studio and sitting in the waiting room, or I don't have kids, so I don't know what sports, but whatever sport your kid is playing, and you're just sitting there, use that as an opportune time to get some of that movement in you were talking about. So we have clients who will take that time and like, if it's at a gym or something, they'll walk around the gym. Or if it's at a baseball diamond, they'll walk around. If it's at the dance studio, they'll walk around the neighborhood. So instead of thinking of things you have to add to your already busy schedule, how can I fit things into what I'm already doing? So habit stacking is so key here.
Oh, I want to add one too, and another mini rant. When people always bring lawn chairs everywhere, that's a thing I never knew about till I was a parent. Like, honestly, I'm sorry, but I told Brian the other day, like my kids had a fair and I'm like, you're here bringing a lawn chair. Aren't you sitting in an office all day? No offense if you're bringing your lawn chair, but you might want to just use that time to stand. That's all I'm saying.
At least balance it, right? Like take some time to sit, some time to walk, because it's the perfect time to get more movement in.
Exactly. Walk more when you can. That's all I'm saying.
I'll add one around food prep because everyone kind of is like, oh, it takes so long and I don't want to do it. Well, this is where I think having the right appliances at home has really made all the difference. So you can actually have something in your slow cooker, air fryer, your rice cooker, baking, all at the same time. I've gotten it down to like a science where it's like maybe under 90 minutes. I could prep for a whole week in 90 minutes, especially if I got the barbecue going. So what are some ways that you can actually utilize more of the things in your kitchen so you're getting done more at the same time? It's kind of like the whole idea when I used to work from home and I was in corporate and I would do the laundry while I was on calls. Yeah. And it's like, well, what can you do in those moments when like you're making rice? Okay, what else can you make at the same time? Or you're throwing something in the oven. Can you put something in another appliance that you have at home to get another meal made at the same time?
I think that was why the 3 of us decided to invest in walking pads because we saw the connection of like, okay, we have calls, we have meetings. I'm sitting. Why am I not walking? There is a device that exists to actually help me do this. So buy a walking pad.
And also reevaluate, I'd say, your schedule. Coming back to being efficient, look at the days when you feel like you're most likely to succeed. And I would say try and make those your days when you take on those things like the food prep or even the training. So your action step right now, just take a look at next week. Just take a few minutes, reflect on the past week, maybe the week that just passed and think, okay, what has worked for me? What felt like it was forced? What wasn't working? And really the goal over time is that you're making those 1% changes that make your routine just a little bit better. You're not overhauling your life, but you're reflecting on what works and just doubling down on that.
That's really good advice.
Yeah. Remember, small changes. That's all we want you to do. We don't want you to overhaul.
And on that note, actually, this is the perfect segue because we know we've seen it time and time again where people do bite off more than they can handle, right? They think, okay, the summer was this, it was that. I'm going to do all the things. So we want to chat about the mindset shift where we can stay consistent without feeling that immense pressure because that is ultimately going to make you more successful. So George, do you want to maybe talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. Because you're going to make all the plans in the world. You're going to come home from the cottage. You're going to finish that last vacation. You're going to end the long weekend. The kids are going to go back to school and you're going to be like, now I can do all these
all
things.
the things.
I'm going to do this whole list of amazing things. And I'm going to be like a whole new person. And then someone's going to get sick and a class is going to take over, or someone's going to be late, or you have to take on a project at work, or the weather is horrible and you couldn't have done it, and blah, 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 blah. Life is going to get in the way. And you're going to be like, in the back of your head, I knew it, that this wasn't going to work. And it's because you took on too much all at once, and you didn't take the time to think through exactly how to ramp it up. And I think this isn't just a timing thing of September and changing of routine or changing time of year. This is like an ongoing challenge that people are feeling this pressure, this all or nothing thinking.
Yeah.
And that is what is perpetuating this constant start and stop and the lack of consistency. It's really thinking you have to do it all at one time, and it has to be done in the best, most all-out way possible, which isn't true. And in fact, some of the best results that we've seen with our clients has been these stacking of wins over time that has allowed a client to implement one thing at a time or make moderate changes to a few things at a time. And then they level up each one as they've mastered it. So if you're thinking like, I've got to make all of these changes all at the same time, and this is the only way I'm going to make any progress, and I've got like 12 weeks to do it before the end of the year, this is a recipe for disaster. You're setting yourself up to fail. You almost have to set yourself up for the most realistic plan possible. What is the bare minimum that you're willing to do and implement? Start small and then start adding from there and stacking, like you guys have been saying about this whole episode.
Minimal effective dose.
Exactly. I love that saying.
It's like watering a flower. You don't want to drown it.
Yes, exactly. And one of my favorite words, scaffolding. When you build a building, you don't start at the top, right? You have to build the foundation and then you build brick by brick. And that is exactly what this is all about. No 0 to 100.
Going back to basics is kind of the first thing I like to think about, not just with the scheduling and stuff, but also what kind of workouts are you doing? Like maybe you go back to basics and you focus on 3 days a week of full body workouts because you know you're going to hit up all your muscle groups. You know that you have 30 to 40 minutes to get that done. And then you can kind of ramp back up to your splits and doing all the other things that you want to do on a more complex level once you've gotten yourself locked and loaded. And I think it's being in the mindset of like, I'm okay with being less perfect here. Whatever you've defined perfection as, that's what's setting you up for failure. It's not that you haven't tried or put in effort. It's this idea of being perfect and living up to this expectation that it's supposed to be done a certain way in order for you to make progress. And yes, there are some scientific truths about how you're going to make some progress. It has to be effective.
Yeah.
But you can stack it in a way and just adjust the timeline around it, which I think is really important.
I was going to say one saying I've come back to with people is we need consistency first before we focus on mastery. There's a time and place for both. Like just focus on one foot in front of the other. Like you said, Mare, like your foundation is I'm consistent. Okay, great. Let's dial up the way you're doing things now. But you need to get the reps in first.
Exactly. And it's also like when you make a mistake, how are you talking to yourself? We've talked about this before around limiting beliefs and negative self-talk. These are the things that are going to hold you back, because if you see it as that limiting self-belief, I'm no good, I knew this wasn't going to work, then yeah, that's what you set it up to be.
Negative reinforcement.
Yeah, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
That's right. That's negativity bias,
exactly.
Right? That's what our brain does.
And so like that guilt isn't actually going to help you get anywhere further.
No.
And so reframing as in, okay, well, what did I do well? Is there anything I did well? I start every single call with a client. What did you do well this week? What was the win? Someone might say, oh, nothing. I did nothing right. And I'm like, you showed up here.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the coaching. That's why you need a coach, y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you need someone to help you interrupt those negative thought patterns, because we can't do them by ourselves all the time. We need that external.
Rewire your brain.
Yes. Rewiring and support. And so like, what does consistency really mean? I would love you girls to give me your take on this. What does consistency mean to you?
For me, it's doing the small things repeated over and over. Consistency also means giving yourself grace that, like we said, it's not going to be perfect, but also we are going to mess up. So one thing I think we really drive home to our clients is struggle, challenge. It's part of being consistent, because it's not a matter of if something's going to happen, it's when something's going to come up. So consistency is putting one foot in front of the other. It's giving yourself grace and kindness to learn and grow from the setbacks and just keep going. The only way to fail is to quit. So just keep going.
I love that saying. I remember when I said that to one of my clients and she just like stopped. She was like, well, yeah, I never thought about it that way. Like quitting is actually the only way that you really fail. If you don't give up,
Yeah.
can't really fail.
You need failure to succeed.
Mhm.
I would define consistency as just putting in the reps.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So in lifting, dirty reps are kind of when your form is not that great, but you're getting it in. And I'm not condoning bad form, but I'm saying in the beginning, we're not going to focus on how many reps are super clean. Just get the reps in.
That's right.
I love that because like what you're really doing by being consistent is showing up when it's hard too. And when you do that, you're building resiliency, you're building strength. The only real path to self-confidence is what I believe is when you've put in the work, you've done the reps, you building up resiliency, you've done it in the face of all of the hard stuff. That's when you actually have confidence in yourself to follow through over and over and over again. And you can see these big, huge mountains that you've made up that are like your negative thinking, the perfectionist, the all or nothing. Then these mountains start to shrink down into like these little molehills. And you're like, I was scared of that. I was frustrated with that. That isn't that hard.
You're leveling up as a person. And, also want to add that I tell people that if we look back on 52 weeks of the year, how many of them were you consistent?
Mm-hmm.
Because you might think, oh, I can really be dialed in, but you're only dialed in for like 2 weeks. I'd rather you're dialed in for 50 weeks out of 52 total over time than just go balls to the wall, then fall off.
I love that because ultimately when you are working on being consistent, when you are setting that new routine, you are doubling down on who you want to become, who you are becoming. Whether you do it the way you want it done, like with this new routine, getting back to working out, getting back to your nutrition, or you don't, you kind of chose your path. You kind of chose who you're becoming, whether that be good or bad, whether it be who you really want to be or who you're settling for. And so it's really being real with yourself and having like that, oh my gosh, moment and saying, who am I really becoming? Like, is this who I really want to be?
Is this my 2.0?
Yeah.
I love that. I was just thinking for September, going back to school, it just made me think about like when you look at kids, right? As a parent, as an educator, whoever's, around little kids, if they suck at something or if they can't do something, what is our natural default to them? Like, I'm just thinking about kids like tying their shoe or something like that. So like in the spirit of back to school, I think we need to use that same compassion, that same logic, that same advice to ourselves. Like, you have to just keep trying. That's what's going to make you better. Every expert was once a beginner. So that's the same for you with your routine, with the goals that you have. You're not going to start and reach them. I wish it was that easy. I wish we could just do that, but we cannot. So I think that's a really important takeaway for our audience.
Be brave enough to be bad at something. That's what I always tell people.
Yeah.
Every master is once a beginner.
So good. So good. Well, here we are, ladies. We're moving into September. A new season is coming. And for everyone listening, we want you to remember that this really is such a perfect time of the year for you to reset, realign, and refocus. And notice how we didn't say restart, because if you've been living this fit life, it's just a time to reflect and see what we can continue and what we want to do a little bit better. Like we said, this applies to fitness, of course, but it's all parts of your life for sure. And just remember that overhauling your life is not necessary. You do not have to do everything all at once. In fact, we want you to do the opposite, like we've talked about. We want you to be consistent, take small, doable steps that move you forward toward where you want to be, because that's what gets you real results. And as you settle back into this new rhythm, remember that you are the creator of your life. You get to decide what that rhythm looks like and feels like. And it's up to you what you want tomorrow and the next days to look like. So as soon as you're done listening to this episode, and before you jump to all the things on your September to-do list, take a minute and get clear on that intention for the season. And what we would love is for you to maybe send us a DM. Let us know what your fall intention is, or even better, share it on your socials and tag us, getsculpted.ca, because we would love to cheer you on and also hold you accountable, because we are doing what you're doing. We are all setting intentions. We're going to be doing it with our clients. And of course, we would love for you to share this episode with a friend, because we are quite sure that you know someone in your life, maybe multiple people, who need this reminder about resetting and refocusing and realigning for the fall season. So thank you for tuning in. And next week, I would love for you to tune in too, because I'm actually going to be having a conversation with a guest. about how you can be coachable in your own transformation journey so that way you can get these real sustainable results. So we will talk to you next time. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Get Sculpted. We hope you feel inspired, empowered, and ready to take the next step in your fitness journey. Remember, building your 2.0 body is a unique journey for you. It's about showing up for yourself consistently and not being perfect.
If you loved today's episode, don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a review and tag us on social at getsculpted.ca. Your feedback helps us reach more women like you who are ready to cut through the noise and make lasting changes.
For more daily tips, inspiration, and behind-the-scenes content, follow us on Instagram and check out our handles in the show notes below. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time on Get Sculpted. Until then, remember this: getting sculpted isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter.